So Vicky, bonfire night.
Yeah.
It's a tricky time for all of our pets. What is the actual issue? What is the problem with dogs particularly around bonfire night?
So obviously the loud bangs are probably the biggest one, the noise, especially because they're so much more sensitive with the hearing than we are. So it's quite scary. They don't understand what the noise is, where it's coming from. It's very sudden. Also sometimes the colours as well. So if it's really bright lights, if they can see it, can obviously light up the house if they're nearby.
Yeah.
It can really sort of freak them out with that as well. So all their senses are just kind of thrown off as well. And with it being in November, obviously the nights are a bit darker. So usually it's pitch black outside. There's these bangs, there's colours, there's a lot going on. There's usually lots of people around as well as heading off to bonfire night and things like that. So it can be quite intimidating for them.
So is that sometimes a trigger as well? So is it when the dark nights start to draw in a little bit? Do dogs remember that from the previous year and start to
They definitely can do.
start with an anxiety pre-bonfire night? So we can see it kind of like around this time of year, September, October, leading up to it.
Definitely.
That is a trigger.
100%. And the dark nights as well on their own can just be a trigger, just from having, the nights are drawn in, they're not getting the usual routine, everything's thrown off.
Yeah.
Smells are obviously very different to them in winter as well. So it kind of the whole thing, and dogs definitely remember from last year what went on, especially dogs that are predisposed to a little bit of anxiety and things like that, rescues as well. It can be really intimidating.
It's quite scary, isn't it?
It is, definitely.
How does it appear then? What's the first kind of things that a pet owner would likely see?
So you've got things like hiding, so running off and hiding under tables, chairs, beds, that kind of thing, shaking, not eating, their eyes. So there's a thing called whale eye, where sort of the whites of their eyes come through when they're looking really scared, cowering, all those kind of things really, just generalised looking nervous.
Okay. So what about our cats as well? Because obviously we don't want to forget about them.
Yeah.
What kind of behaviour do we think we'll see with a cat?
Biggest thing with cats is they will run off and hide. So they will go under your bed, they will go wherever. We do have some issues with cats. If they're outside, they'll just dart off and they can go missing. And that's when obviously you can get car accidents and things like that with involving cats. So the biggest thing is definitely the hiding with cats and running off, being a bit more skittish than usual. Cats are a lot better at hiding how they're feeling than dogs. So they will tend to just go off on their own and do their own thing, whereas dogs will let you know that they're quite scared.
And very needy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you recommend then about this time of year now, sort of coming up to bonfire night? What can pet owners start doing now ahead of that scary time?
So one of the biggest things I would say is desensitisation. So having the sound of bonfire and fireworks on in the background, but really low. So on your Alexa or your radio or whatever, have it on really, really quiet, just in the background whilst they're doing something they enjoy, like having the tea, having a game of fetch or something that they love to do, a licky mat, things like that, things that can calm them down. Really, really low so you can barely hear it, and then slowly turn it up. If you see they're starting to become anxious, just turn it back down again, and keep doing it with things that they love. Ideally, we want to be doing that sort of a few months in advance, just to slowly build them up, even a year in advance. But we can start doing it now. There's lots of different little bits that you can do. I mean, licky mats, snuffle mats, things like that are brilliant for helping them sort of to de-stress. The only thing is on bonfire night, usually if dogs are nervous, they won't want to eat or anything like that because they are a little bit nervous. But you can be doing that alongside the desensitisation. Obviously, you've got your Nutracalm, which is brilliant for your fast action. So you don't have to have the loading dose for Nutracalm. You can take it the day and it'll sort of start to work and take that anxiety away. That's fine for cats as well. You can use it with the cats. So yeah, they're probably your biggest things. Make little hiding places for them where they can feel safe. So blankets. Try not to sort of be there for them and reassure them, but try not to sort of cuddle them and make them feel enclosed. If they want to come for a cuddle, that's fine, but try not to sort of pick them up and just let them sort of be where they feel happy and where they feel safe.
Do you think that sometimes can make it worse if if they're sensing your anxiety as well and you're ripping onto them?
So dogs pick up on all our feelings. If we're feeling nervous, if we're scared, if we're thinking, they might be feeling a bit anxious, they'll pick up on that. So just try and remain as calm as you can, whilst keeping your dog or your cat safe, obviously. So try not to just cuddle them and keep them there. Which I know is tempting if your dog's scared, but
definitely. I would definitely be doing that, but I shouldn't. I really know I shouldn't. So what do we do about these cases where we've tried to put all of these strategies in place, but we are just on the ceiling, we're really, really panicking? Like what would you recommend at that point?
So definitely see your vet.
Okay.
Vets can give out more prescription, a little bit stronger medication that can act more like a sedative.
Okay.
So that can help just with the really severe cases, because they're too freaked out. They've had something go on in the past or something like that.
Yeah.
So definitely seek advice with your vet. The problem with Bonfire Night now is it's not just one night. We've got a week of it or 2 weeks of it. So it can be more of sort of a couple of weeks, unfortunately. We used to say try go somewhere where you're away from the bonfire and the fireworks and things, but it's a little bit harder to do that now.
Unfortunately it definitely is. I've noticed a difference with my pets because we moved house and we are a little bit more rural,
right?
So they're definitely more comfortable now, so there is definitely something in that, isn't there?
I mean, obviously if you live in the centre of town where there's a firework display 2 minutes down the road, that's going to freak anybody out. So if you can, stay with friends or family on the night that you know there's one nearby, if you can, just to remove that stress level a little bit.
Could this potentially make other noise phobias worse? So if your dog's got just like lorries or you know, a gunshot, for example, or something like that, could Bonfire Night really reinforce that other noise sensitivity as well?
Absolutely. Because it's usually from an anxiety and it can just all snowball and make it so much worse, definitely.
Is this something then we should be doing with puppies? Should we be desensitising puppies?
100%. So obviously your puppy socialisation from a young age is vital with everything you can, so try and get them exposed to literally whatever you can, but definitely start, like I said earlier, play the sound of fireworks in the background really quiet whilst they're having the tea, whilst you're doing your training, just especially if your puppy's a little bit on the anxious side, definitely be doing those things. It's
a really, really good advice. Okay, thank you, that's really good, really helpful.